Hello, my name is Miss Emily and I am with the Youth Services Department of the Fayetteville Public Library, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to braid your hair in 4 different ways. So let's just hop right into it. The materials that I suggest you will need are a regular ponytail holder, 2 of these clear elastic ponytail holders that can just hold like small bits, and a comb is optional. You can use your hands if you don't have a comb, but I think that it's helpful. Alright, so for the first braid that I'm going to teach you, you're going to need to split your hair directly into a middle part, and we're going to do a French braid on one side and a Dutch braid on the other side. And these braids are basically the same, but you just lay the pieces over each other in a different direction. So I'll show you, if you don't have a comb, what I like to do is I take my finger and I line it up to my nose, and then I just go straight up into my hair, because your nose should be about the center of your face. And I just keep doing that until I get a good center part, as you can see here. And you can take that all the way back to the back of your head and split your hair into 2 sides. And I find it helpful to take one of my ponytail holders and just section off the hair that I'm not going to be braiding at that time, just so it stays out of the way. Alright, so we're going to start with a French braid. And what you will do is you will take a small section of your hair right in the front and just kind of comb it with your fingers to make sure that you don't have any loose hairs underneath. And then you're going to separate this section into 3 parts that are as even as you can make them. You see, I've got 1, 2, 3. And I'm kind of holding them all in the same hand because you have to increasingly add small sections of hair in order to make it a French braid. So I start with the outside piece and I take it between my fingers here. You can see that the second piece is resting over my thumb. I'm going to grab that second piece and put the outside piece over it in the center. Then I have this piece here that I'm going to, and you see I switched hands, so I'm going to grab that one with my pinky finger. I've got the middle piece between these 2, and my thumb and pinky are holding the bottom one. So at this point, you need to take another small section of hair that's laying down and add it to that inside piece, is what I'm going to call it. So you take the inside piece then, and you're going to grab the piece that's now in the middle and pull it under that inside piece and switch hands again. You can see I've got all the pieces in one hand. I've got a free hand here. And then I'm going to take another small section of hair, this time by my temple, add it to the outside piece, and then we're going to lay it over the middle piece again. So I'm going to keep doing this rotation, going from inside over, outside over, while also grabbing extra pieces of hair. And you want to make sure and pull it fairly tight. You can see the formation of the braid starting. And you're going to do this over and over about to the bottom of your neck, or until your arms can't reach behind you anymore. So I'm just going to show you this one. I sectioned it, added the section to the outside piece. I'm going over the center And switching hands again. I'm going to turn around and see if I can show you from the back for a few steps. That way you can kind of see what it would look like from the opposite direction. All right, now once you get to this last bit of hair that you have and you add it in, you can see that there's no more hair on my neck that needs to be added into the braid. You can continue the braid as just a regular 3-folding braid. You're not adding any more hair to it. And you're just gonna go take the outside over the middle and then the inside piece over the middle, over and over until you can't reach anymore. And then what I do is I bring it over to the side of my head so I can reach better. And then you just get it to where your hands are comfortable holding all 3 of the pieces, and you continue doing the braid all the way down. You can go as far down as you possibly can. You can leave a little bit at the end if you like to have some of your unbraided hair showing. So this is about as far as I can go without little stray pieces sticking out. Then I'm going to take one of my clear elastic bands and I just stretch it out, wrap it around a few times, and there you have it. That is how a French braid will look. And you can do that to both sides of your head. You can do it straight down the center. If you want to do the straight down the center, a single braid, all you need to do is start, instead of by parting your hair, you'll just start with a section directly in the middle and go straight down, adding from both sides. Or you can start directly in the middle of your hair without starting at the top and just braid from, say, here all the way down, but still adding in the pieces of hair as you go. And let me turn around one more time so I can show you what this braid is going to look like from the back. Now I'm going to show you how to do a Dutch braid. It's a very, very similar concept to the French braiding. It's just a different motion of how you are going to take the strands of hair and turn them over each other. And I realized I didn't show you, if you have a comb, especially one that has a pick on the end, instead of using your finger to separate your hair down the middle, you can just take this pick and you would just slide it down your part, and then it will pick up the hairs that need to go to the other side to create a middle part. All right, so for a Dutch braid, you're going to start with that same small section of hair in the front and section it into 3 parts that are as close to even as possible. You see I have my 3 pieces. So this time, instead of taking the outside and going over the middle and then the inside and over the middle, you're going to take the outside and go under the middle part. And then you'll take your inside piece and add your section of hair. And then same thing, you're gonna go under instead of over. And I'm still able to switch my hands back and forth, taking the pieces of hair, putting them between my thumb and pointer finger, the middle 2 fingers, and then my pinky is holding the outside, or the inside piece of hair, excuse me. So I take this piece by my temple, add it to the outside piece, and then I'm going to stick it under the middle and grab that one from the top. This one's a little more tricky just because it's a little more uncomfortable on the fingers to be trying to grab from underneath, because when you're French braiding, you can just, as you're throwing it over, grab it with your fingers that are going to hold it. But with the Dutch braid, you have to kind of maneuver your fingers a little bit differently so that you can hold the piece as you are sending it underneath. I think it's more of a two-handed job in terms of laying the pieces over one another. I'm going to just continue doing that as I was the French braid, grabbing the piece on the outside and switching it over, and then adding more hair to the inside piece. And I think you can tell I'm kind of combing through the pieces that I grab as I grab them, just so there's not a big tangle of hair as I try to switch it over to the other side. All right, I'm going to turn around again and show you from the back in just a moment, but I think you can see the difference a little bit. This one, you can see the sides are tucked under, whereas on this side, the braid is forming on top of the hair, and it will show as a raised braid instead of an inlaid braid. And I think you'll be able to tell better at the end as well. So I will show you, I promise, at the end. But let me turn around and show you what it looks like, what you're going to be doing from the back. All right, so you can see now I'm at that final section of hair again, and I'm going to tuck it under. And then I'm just going to continue braiding my hair, this time still continuing that under motion under the center piece of hair. I'm going around my shoulder. All right, I've gotten to the end as far as I can go without little strands sticking out. So I'm going to take my clear elastic and secure my hair. And you can use a regular ponytail holder to do this at the ends of your hair as well. You don't have to use a clear elastic. That's just what I prefer to do. All right, so I think you can tell the difference. This one is, as you can tell, the braid is actually poking out on top of the hair, whereas this one is laid into the hair And I hope that you can tell the difference of what these look like. Let me show you from the back once. All right, so that is our first 2 braids that we have to accomplish today. I hope that you are able to follow along with that. And next I'm going to be showing you a braid that's called the Fishtail Braid. Okay, so the Fishtail Braid I'm going to do is a single braid. You could do it exactly like the French braid or the Dutch braid and do 2 of them, but I'm just going to show you how to do it in a single braid. And I'm actually going to show you it over my shoulder here so that you can see without me having to turn around and so I can still talk to you. I will show you what it looks like from the back as well, but I think this one is one that's better viewed from the front. Okay, I'm going to take the 2 sections of hair and I'm going to cross the one that's on the inside over the one on the outside. And this is going to be your starting setup. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to take a small section of hair from the inside of the inside piece and put it over onto the outside. And then you're going to take a tiny piece from the outside piece on the outside and cross it over and add it to the piece on the inside. And you're going to keep doing this over and over and over. It's going to form this crisscross pattern that looks like a fish's tail. And so I take a small section, add it to this one, and I take a small section from the outside of this one, and I go and add it back to this side. This is a bit of a messier braid in my opinion. It doesn't have to be as perfectly pleated as what the French and Dutch braids do. You just keep on adding pieces to either side over and over, and I continue to pull my hair tight so that it can stay pretty uniform. And I'm just crossing over and over, back and forth. And I think you can see I usually grab with my middle finger as I'm holding the other pieces. That way I don't lose track of where the hair is going, and I can keep them separated. I think you can see now that the fishtail is starting to form. And you can do as big or small of a piece as you want to once you get down here to the end and it's harder to grab pieces. All right, so as you can see, we've got this crisscrossing pattern. It's technically only a 2-strand braid, so it only has, you can see there's dots on this side and there's dots on this side. And by dots, I just mean the little lumps of hair that are crisscrossed over each other. And then I'm going to just secure this with my regular ponytail holder. And this is the final look of the fishtail braid once it is secured. I've got it done as a side braid. You can pull out little pieces of hair by your ears and kind of fluff this up so it doesn't look so flat. And I can show you sort of what it looks like from the back. And if you become very skilled in this braid and you don't have to look at it over your shoulder, you can do this braid in the back behind your hair. You would just start with your hair sectioned in 2 behind you, and you just choose which side you want over the top or under, and then you start doing the add one piece to the other side and back and forth until you have the fishtail down your back. And the same with the Dutch braid and the French braid. When you can't see it anymore or you can't reach it behind your back anymore, you can pull it over to the side of your head and finish it off and then put it behind your back, and it should go more straight down the middle. But since I started this one on this side, it will mostly just sit here on my shoulder like this. The final braid I'm going to show you today is a regular French braid, but it's just right here in the front of your hair. That way you can put it into a ponytail or a bun, or add it to whatever kind of updo you would like to. Or you can just, once it's finished, you can section it off with one of the clear elastics or some bobby pins or anything that you want if you would like for it to just stop here. The reason that this one is a little bit different is because it starts in the front of your face and has to travel like back and to the side. And so you're going to have to do a little bit of a different hand motion in order to make this one stay in the right direction. So what I do is I section my hair a little bit more to one side. That way I have a little bit of extra hair to work with. And you can see I just changed my part a little bit right here in the front. Then I'm not going to start directly in the front of my hair. I'm going to take a section that's just a little bit back, and it's right here in the center, about 1.5 inches, 2 inches wide. I'm going to section this into 3 parts. As you can see. Okay, I'm going to take the front piece and put it over the middle, and then I'm going to take the back piece and add a small section of hair, and then I'm going to put that over the middle. These should be smaller sections of hair than if you were doing a French braid on the side or down the middle, just because it's a smaller portion of hair that you're trying to braid and you want the braid to look longer, if that makes sense. If you do a shorter or smaller sections of hair, it allows you to do more changeovers in terms of putting one hair over the center and then the other one. So then I'm going to grab another piece here, not the one directly in front yet, and I'm going to put it over the middle. Grab another section of hair here, add it and put it over the middle. My hair is tangling, sorry. Now I'm going to add this section directly from the front of my face and put it over the middle. Adding and going over the middle. Adding this other piece that's directly in front of my face and putting it over the middle. As you can see, my braid is starting to form. Here's a good look at how my hand is holding the different sections of hair. These 2 fingers are holding the outermost piece. The middle piece is just kind of resting in between my thumb and my first finger. It's not really being held by anything. And then the outer piece, or excuse me, the inside piece, I have in my basically a fist, but held by my last 2 fingers. You can make this braid as long or as short as you want to. We could technically stop right here. And you can see that it's braided. I'm going to go a few more turnovers. All right, once you get to where you want to stop, for me that's right about here, you can see the braid is going across here. I usually take this leftover hair and do a regular braid without adding any hair to it. Just a couple turnovers. That way I have some length to add into my ponytail or bun or whatever. You could braid this in a regular turnover braid all the way down and secure it at the end, and it would just hang here, which is very pretty. I'm going to grab this as it is. I put all the sections together, and I'm just going to show you what it looks like when I put it back into a ponytail with this. I kind of make sure all of the regular hair that's not braided is in the back so that I can put it into the ponytail. And then I lay once I've got all the hair back there, I can add the braided piece into it, and it's technically about right here. You can tell it's a little bit shorter than the rest of my hair, and the braid is securely in place, and I can just put the ponytail holder around my hair, and I kind of just pull it out a little bit. That way it doesn't look like it's pressed flat against my head. And there you have it. You can see that it is braided across here, and it is attached inside the ponytail through the hair that it is braided into. And I think you can see better from the side that the braid is going down into the ponytail. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining my how to braid tutorial today. If you have any questions about any of the methods of braiding that I showed you today, I can definitely answer your questions in the comments. And I hope that you have a lot of fun braiding your hair and that this is a helpful tutorial on how to do a few different braids. Again, thank you for joining us. My name is Miss Emily, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.